Namaste. My name is Preity Upala, and I am a global thought leader and a multimedia personality. Welcome to my podcast, The Preity Experience. Join me as I explore some of the most fascinating and crucial issues that affect our world today. I take a unique global perspective on these issues, and the very foundation of my insights is humanity and spirituality. I'm Preity Upala, and welcome to the Preity Experience.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, गुड इवनिंग एंड नमस्कार टू एवरीवन। मैं हूं फखर यूसुफजई और आप देख रहे हैं डिबेट विद फखर। डिबेट विद फखर में आज हम बात करेंगे स्पोर्ट्स के हवाले से। और जब स्पोर्ट्स की बात आती है तो मैं कहता हूं कि स्पोर्ट्स में अगर क्रिकेट की हम बात ना करें, हम एशियन, पाकिस्तान के रहने वाले, हिंदुस्तान के रहने वाले, तो मेरे ख्याल में ये ज्यादती होगी, क्योंकि मेजॉरिटी लोग हमारे दोनों साइड पे, बल्कि मैं कहूँगा साउथ एशिया में श्रीलंका, बांग्लादेश, पाकिस्तान एंड हिंदुस्तान और अब अफगानिस्तान एज वेल, हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा वी आर जिसे कहते हैं ना कि क्रिकेट लविंग नेशंस रहते हैं यहाँ पर। जो मर्जी हो, लेकिन क्रिकेट सबका पसंदीदा खेल है। तो इस वजह से आज हमने बात करने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि चैंपियनशिप शुरू होने वाली है 18 जून को इंग्लैंड में, इंडिया वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड। यकीनन सबको इंतजार है इस बहुत बड़े इवेंट का, क्योंकि पहली दफा ये फाइनल होने को जा रहा है। 2 साल का जो टेस्ट का रिजल्ट है, उसमें हमें पता चलेगा कि हु इज द रियल चैंपियन ऑफ टेस्ट क्रिकेट, इंडिया और न्यूजीलैंड, क्योंकि दोनों अच्छी टीम्स हैं। दोनों ने बहुत अच्छा 2 सालों से अच्छी क्रिकेट खेली है। लेकिन मैं ये कहूंगा इन द ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स कि इंडिया का पड़ला जिसको कहते हैं वो मुझे भारी लग रहा। लेकिन ये फैसला तो खैर 18 जून को जब मैच शुरू होगा तो हमें पता चलेगा कि क्या होने जा रहा है और कौन ये चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी कौन उठाएगा। आज बात करने के लिए मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं आप सब लोग उनको जानते हैं, वन एंड ओनली Preity Upala is joining me from US. Welcome to the show, Preity. Namaste and assalamu alaikum, pakhair ragle.
Assalamu alaikum, Fakhar Yousafzai Saab. Namaste, namaskar, adab, sat sri akal, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and so amazing to be with your wonderful audience again. And Eid Mubarak ji, and Eid Mubarak to all of your wonderful audiences, especially in Pakistan and India.
बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर ग्रीटिंग्स ईद के हवाले से। बिल्कुल, क्योंकि प्रीटी ने मुबारकबाद पहले भी बात दी थी, लेकिन शो में, क्योंकि अभी ईद के बाद उनका और मेरा पहला शो है, तो इसलिए उन्होंने अब एक दफा फिर उनको याद था। एंड आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू हर कि उनको ये हमारा इवेंट जो था वो याद है और वो दोबारा से उन्होंने मुबारकबाद दिया। थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रीटी फॉर ज्वाइनिंग मी इन द शो। स्टार्ट करेंगे फ्रॉम टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल 18 जून टू 2021 इंग्लैंड। क्या नजर आ रहा है? सबसे पहले तो ये मतलब एक बड़ा अमेजिंग इवेंट होने जा रहा है, क्योंकि टेस्ट मैचेस तो चल रहे हैं जब से क्रिकेट स्टार्ट हुआ है। 6 डेज हुआ करता था, फिर उसके बाद 5 डेज शुरू हुआ, बट राइट नाउ इट्स फाइनल बिटवीन द 2 टॉप टीम्स, इंडिया वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड। सबसे पहले तो इसके बारे में क्या कहेंगे, देन वी विल डिस्कस द स्क्वाड्स एंड who can win this trophy.
Well, thank you, Yousafzai Saab, again for having me on your wonderful show. Amazing to speak about sports, especially cricket, because we all love it, of course. And it's been a great year. I think great summer of cricket all throughout. It's been a treat. And I think the final pinnacle is here, because I think for cricket lovers, Test cricket is really the cream, I think, with the cherry on top. So I think, fans in India, Pakistan, Australia, England, New Zealand, everywhere, they respect and appreciate Test cricket the most. And I think it's been 2 years since 2019, I guess 20 and then 21, I guess 3 years now, where all these teams have been fighting it out. And the 2 best teams have emerged. And I think we are in for a treat. There's a lot at stake. Obviously, India wants to cement its place as the #1 test team in the world. Now, don't forget that India has been #1 for the last 5 years in a row. So 5 consecutive #1s. I honestly think they are the um, indisputed champions, regardless of whether they win this championship final or not. However, I think so that nobody has any doubts whatsoever, to have like a 200% certainty that they are the best team in the world right now, they must win this championship. New Zealand, fantastic team, always, such an underrated team because they are phenomenal and fantastic, but they've they've fallen short during a few finals in the past, and they're a great cricketing nation for such a small, tiny country, and they do deserve to be up there. They also deserve to hold that trophy. I think how they have played this recent game against England has been phenomenal, and they're showing us just why they are in the final with India, and they are absolutely just a few points away from India from that #1
Yeah,
spot anyway. So it's going to be a cracker of a game. I will say that if this final was happening anywhere other than other than New Zealand and England, I think India would win hands down because conditions would obviously suit India, whether it's more spin friendly or if it was even a neutral ground. I think I would say even Australia, if it was played in Australia, I think India would come out on top quite easily. But we are where we are. This is what we've been given. The ICC decided this a while back, and we just have to play with the hands that are dealt to us. So I am curious to know what this Indian team is going to come up, what sort of lineup they're going to come up with, and
sure.
I really think that they want to prove the world that they are the best, and they're going to go for it.
You are absolutely right. All the people are desperately waiting for that test champion. It's the first championship of the test matches for last 2 or 3 years का जो भी रिजल्ट था, ये हमें अब इसका एक किंग, ये जो क्राउन होगा, ये उसके सर सजेगा. बहुत अच्छा है. Pretty, we will discuss of course, the Indian squad. Virat Kohli is heading their team, no doubt about him. लेजेंड बैट्समैन. मैं कहता हूं कि हिंदुस्तान में बहुत बड़े बड़े बैट्समैन गुजरे हैं. सर सचिन की अगर हम बात करते हैं, बहुत सारे हैं. मतलब अगर मैं नाम लूंगा तो धोनी, वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट बैट्समैन, बहुत अच्छे विकेट कीपर, बहुत अच्छे कैप्टन, नो डाउट अबाउट दैट. बट विराट इज अ यंग पर्सन. मतलब उस इंडिया की टीम को लीड करना, इट्स नॉट अ जोक. बेसिकली 1.4 बिलियन में से 11 सेलेक्ट होना, इट्स अ टफ जॉब. आई थिंक सो. पाकिस्तान में 220 मिलियन पॉपुलेशन में से जब 11 सेलेक्ट होते हैं तो लोगों की चीखें निकल जाती हैं. तो जब उसको हम 5 टाइम जो है ज्यादा लोगों में से 11 सेलेक्ट होना, इट्स वेरी टफ. क्या नजर आ रहा है कि विराट के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी, नो डाउट कि उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंसेस दी है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है. हमें उनकी परफॉर्मेंस, उनकी कैप्टनसी, उनकी फिटनेस, आई लव दैट. क्या नजर आ रहा है कि ये जो चैंपियनशिप अभी आ रही है, तो इसमें सबसे स्टार्ट अगर हम विराट कोहली से लेंगे तो क्या नजर आ रहा है आपको? व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट?
बिल्कुल. He is King Kohli for a reason. I think he is going to want to prove some of his critics, and they are out there. They've been questioning that he hasn't made a century in a while, and his record in England is not the best. I think he would like to make some runs. So he's going to come out and not just ensure that the team is, the best team he can come up with, and that they work cohesively as a unit, and that what he doesn't want is obviously the middle order collapse, especially depending if the conditions change or not. But I think he personally would like to make a few runs. I'm sure many people just look at him as just as somebody to lead the team, and make sure that you get the best team out there, and I guess contribute with the runs. But I think he himself personally, he's had a dry patch, I think, with the run making, and I think he'd like to hey, if he can make that century, I think he'll be thrilled. But even a half century will be great. It's only one test. It's not best of three. So I guess you have a good 3 or 4 days to really make those runs. And I'm um, assuming the first, I would say 2, 3 days, probably the first 2 days are the best for batting for either team. So he has to be, he has to bring his A game, I think, and really show the world why he's leading the best team on the planet right now.
Right. Okay. I have opened the Indian squad and my iPad. I can say so many people they are doing good job. They did a good job for India.
Mhm.
Ajinkya Rehane, no doubt about that. Pujara, actually Hanoma Viadi. I don't know about him, but
Yes.
Manik Agarwal, Rohit Sharma, the legend batsman in a one day double century holder, I think so, 3 times he did this job. Uh, After that, Gill, then Virat Kohli, Axel Patel, Ravindra Jadeja.
Yes.
What do you think about the spin combination? I think so that will be difficult for the New Zealand team to tackle with the Indian spin bowling as well as the Indian fielding.
A good
How you
question,
can
Bilkul.
rate that?
Bilkul, correct. So, um, hmm, if it's dry and sunny, yes, this will be the problem. New Zealand will struggle with our spin capacity, and
Exactly.
both Ravi Jadeja and our Ashwin will come in, and they're going to have a field trip, a field day there, which is going to be excellent for India. However, the I just looked at the weather forecast and it's not raining, thankfully. However, it is definitely overcast for all of those 5 days with a over 10% precipitation
Yeah.
percentage and likelihood. Well, not likelihood, but there is moisture out there. So it won't be as dry as India would like. I think it's the timing um, misfortune for India because a week before, actually, when England will be playing New Zealand in that during that
Yeah.
their second test,
Test.
that's
Yeah.
when they will experience more sun. And I don't know if this was intentional, if the EC, well, I guess maybe the when England was coming up with the dates, maybe for that New Zealand tour, is that how they did it? But a week before, I think India would win this hands down because it was sunny and dry. But 18th to 22nd, overcast. So that means, look, spin is always going to trouble teams like England, New Zealand, and Australia, always. And that is a weapon that Indian team has always had. Um, Definitely, you should have a spinner. Um, I would my when I look at my squad, I'm actually going to go ahead and maybe have both our Ravi Jadeja and our Ashwin, and then of course you have the three pace the three fast bowlers because I
Yeah.
think that's a perfect combination. And Jadeja and Ashwin are both technically all rounders, and they both do, especially Jadeja, he's quite good with
Yeah.
that, and we need him as a fielder. I think he's a whole package that comes in. I think his fielding skills will be incredibly important, and his contribution with the bat will be important. I would almost have him there even if Ashwin is playing, because I just think that what he brings is really the X factor, and he's going to be one of the standout performances I predict for this team. So because of the overcast weather conditions, I think two spinners and then the three quicks will be my pick. I'm Let's see what the coach and the captain think. But I mean, if you wanted to be, I guess, playing more, if you wanted to be more safe than sorry, you would have the one spinner only, and I'd bring in Shardul
Okay.
Thakur, I think, because he's also very good with English conditions. Then it's a toss up. I still, our Ashwin is the highest wicket taker in this entire Test championship. He is 67 wickets, the most of anyone. So I think I don't know to sort of bench him and have an R Jadeja is going to be a huge call. I'm not sure if Kohli is going to want to take that call, but we'll find out. But Shardul Thakur will get a go, and I think Siraj instead of Shami. So I think they have basically two teams, and
Yeah.
depending on the conditions the day before, you got to pick one of those teams.
Okay, here, if you are talk about fast bowling of India, Yamesh Yadev, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, and Ishant Sharma.
Yes.
Yeah, Ishant Sharma. Actually, Ishant Sharma is the most experienced bowler, I think so, in the Indian squad.
Correct.
I have seen him in England, in Australia.
Yes.
बहुत ज़्यादा खेले हैं अपनी टीम के लिए. लेकिन जो जसप्रीत बुमराह है उनका एक्शन और जो जिस तरीके से पिछले अगर हम 1 ईयर की बात करें तो बहुत अच्छी बॉलिंग उनकी हुई है. शामी विकेट टेकर है, स्कोर पड़ता है उनको, ये मसला है. सिराज इज द यंग स्लॉट, हम ये कह सकते हैं. शरदुल टॉकर इज अ यंग बॉलर, मतलब इनएक्सपीरियंस. तो क्या नजर आ रहा है कि हिंदुस्तान को ईशांत शर्मा, जसप्रीत बुमराह एंड यमेश यादव के साथ जाना चाहिए, और ईशांत शर्मा, मोहम्मद शामी, मोहम्मद सिराज के साथ जाना चाहिए? कौन सा बेहतर रहेगा इस पिच के हवाले से अगर हम बात करें?
Okay, bilkul. Neither. I have another combination for you. I have
Okay.
Ishant Sharma, Bumrah, and Shami. Because
Okay.
yes, Ishant Sharma is his record in England is extremely good. His
Yeah.
record against England is extremely good, and one could say New Zealand and England, they are similar. I don't think Ishant is probably the best bowler in the Indian team right now, and he's been in and out, I think, of the squad.
Yeah.
However, in England, in these overcast conditions, he is the king. He's going to come out on top. To be honest, even though our Ashwin has the most wickets with 67, Ishant has 36 wickets, almost half. In these conditions, Ishant is almost more lethal than Ashwin. A radical decision would be to actually not have Ashwin and have Thakur and Jadeja and then these three picks. But I think if you playing safe, you'll have the two spinners. But I would go for Ishant Sharma for sure. Bumrah is the best bowler, I would say, in the Indian team, and in other formats too. You have to have him. He's a must. The toss-up really is Siraj or Shami. Siraj is fabulous. He's done incredibly well in Australia. Now, however, this is going to be a new experience for him. And is this the occasion where you want to try out a brand new bowler, I suppose, or you want to go with Shami, who's had an incredible record in England in these conditions? I would say that if between now and the final, if Shami isn't 1,000% fit, they would go with Siraj. But if Shami is honestly, if he's as fit as can be, I think they're going to go with him because he just has that experience. Siraj is going to be 12th person, I think. He's going to be the replacement in case anything happens. I think he'd come in. So that's my pick. I don't know your pick. You maybe you want to try Siraj instead.
No. Actually, I think so. It's a best combination. Ishant, Bumrah, and Shami.
Yes.
All three are excellent bowler from India. I have told you that Siraj is, I think so, not that much experienced bowler. He's young, and of course, in the coming time, he will do something special for India. Now, come to the other point, New Zealand squad. In two things I have read about that. एक तो ये था कि 18th of June को हिंदुस्तान जब भी इंग्लैंड में खेला है तो वो हारा है. इट्स अ मैथ एक्चुअली, इट्स बट मैंने पढ़ा, मैंने कहा यार वाकई 18 जून को पाकिस्तान से चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी आ रहा, 18 जून को मतलब 3-4 मैंने चीजें पढ़ी थी, अब 3 मुझे याद और नहीं है कि ये जब वहां खेला है तो किसी इंडियन क्रिकेट लवर ने लिखा था ट्विटर पे कि यार अब फिर 18 जून को इंडिया वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड है, तो ये ना हो कि फिर वही चीज हो जाए. तो इसमें क्या एक चीज, मतलब हम पढ़ते रहते हैं एज ए क्रिकेट लविंग नेशन या एज ए क्रिकेट एक्सपर्ट, हम इस तरह की चीजें हमें नजर आती हैं बहरहाल क्रिकेट में। हो सकता है लोग इसको इतना वो ना कहें, बट ऐसा है। दूसरी, जब हम अदर साइड ऑफ न्यूजीलैंड की अगर हम बात करते हैं, तो उन्होंने सुपर ओवर में वर्ल्ड कप हारा है अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड इन 2019। तो दोनों टीम्स की ये चीजें जो है क्या नजर आ रहा है आपको? उसके बाद फिर हम न्यूजीलैंड के स्पोर्ट को डिस्कस करेंगे।
Bilkul. I think there are many astrologers out there in the world, especially in India, who are predicting, the outcomes. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong.
Absolutely.
I think both New Zealand and India have been unfortunate in England. England has been a bit of a graveyard for both of these teams, to be honest, and especially in these conditions in June. And if you have English empires and during World Cup, that whole situation, neither team has gotten lucky. It just didn't work out for them karmically, I think. So they both would want to sort of change that, and I'm sure they both want to overcome any planetary misalignment, so to speak. So I mean, we can maybe it's just no more than a coincidence. But I think New Zealand, it's funny, the whole world is talking about the Indian squad. No one is talking about the New Zealand squad, but
Absolutely.
they have such a solid squad. And we have seen how they have really almost demolished England
Yeah.
recently. They really deserved to win that game. It
Yep.
drew because of the weather. But I think they are a super team in many ways. They're actually stronger. I think from a bowling perspective, I would rate them actually as the best in the world right now, even higher than India, to be honest, because they have
Right.
that experience in these conditions. In the subcontinent, their bowlers don't do that well, but in English conditions, I think they're just super. And I think for Indian fans, they're very overconfident. They just keep thinking that they have this star team. Well, star teams didn't win. Your star team didn't win the 2019 World Cup, right? So just because you got all these big names doesn't mean anything. You have to really come together as a team based on the conditions of the day, and really make sure that there's no collapse. And New Zealand is going to really trouble them, I think, with their bowling. So
Okay.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a one hell of a game.
Okay. In the end, we will discuss the New Zealand squad. Devon Conway, Henry Nicholas, Kane Williamson. I think so. He's also a best captain
Yes.
in the world right now. If we are talking about the Virat Kohli, of course, Ken Williamson is also deserved that, no doubt. Bruce Taylor, the most senior player of New Zealand, he's playing from I think so last 3 or 4 World Cups. He's playing the cricket, and still now he is fit that much that he is playing a test cricket. Will Young, uh, Grant Home, no doubt about that. Daryl Mitchell, and the spinner Santner. Very, I think so. I have seen him. It's very lethal. I think so.
Mhm.
And Latham, Jas Patel, Bracewell, Jacob Duffy, Jameson, and Matty Henry. But the most important is Tim Saudi and Trent Bolt.
Yes.
वेरी एक्सेलेंट बॉलिंग स्क्वाड विद न्यूजीलैंड। क्या नजर आ रहा है, क्योंकि मैंने देखा कि इंडिया को अगर कोई बीट कर सकता है तो फास्ट बॉलिंग के साथ इंडिया बीट होता है। स्पिन के खिलाफ तो बहुत अच्छा खेलते हैं, किसी दुनिया की कोई स्पिन बॉलर हो उसको बहुत अच्छा खेल लेते हैं। बट जब पेस की जहां बात हम करते हैं तो वहां पे इंडियन थोड़ा सा लैग करते हैं। ये बात मैंने मतलब जब भी बड़े उसमें देखा है, बड़े मौकों पे, तो उनके बॉलर को आप बीट कर, उनके बैट्समैन को आप बीट कर सकते हैं पेस के साथ, और अगर उसके साथ लाइन लेंथ दोनों अच्छी हो, जो ये लोग ट्रेंट बोल्ट और टिम साउदी करते हैं। टिम साउदी की स्पीड इतनी ज्यादा नहीं है, बट लाइन लेंथ बहुत अच्छी है। तो क्या नजर आ रहा है कि ये बड़ा एक डेंजरस कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं हो सकता फॉर इंडिया?
जी बिल्कुल, आपने सही कहा। Saudi and Bolt are going to be such a dangerous combination for India. And although India has fixed its issue almost up until a few years ago, I think we've never had pace bowlers. We've never had the quicks, the fast bowlers. We've had great spinners, and so on, but and medium pace, I would say, like
Yeah.
Bhuvi. But in the last few years, we have fixed that problem, and we have these fantastic fast bowlers, Bumrah, Siraj, Shami.
Yeah.
However, our players, Indian players, still struggle with fast bowlers in general, especially of teams like England, Australia, and New Zealand. So I think Southee and Bolt, more so Southee, he has more wickets. He's got quite a few. I think Bolt is maybe 36, 37 wickets. Southee is it 55 if I'm correct, if
Yep.
I'm not wrong. He's got a lot of wickets. He's done incredibly well in this Test championship. Um, you know, and he's like the R Ashwin, he's like the best bowler.
Yep.
I think in these conditions, the conditions will suit him. If he is, I mean, look, if something, God forbid, if something happens to him, if he's not 100% fit, I think there's a real opening. Or if even Bolt isn't 100% fit, there will be an opening for India. But it seems like they are doing incredibly well. The second test between England and New Zealand, obviously, I think the New Zealand players will probably want to be a little careful, not push it. It might also end in a draw, who knows? And that's fine. But they need to make sure that they're completely fit and ready for India, because I think that's obviously pinnacle. You mentioned Santner. He plays for CSK.
Yep.
He's not obvious. I mean, he's not known as one of the best spinners in the
Exactly.
world, but he is
Yep.
good. He is. I think in these conditions, New Zealand doesn't need more than one spinner, so he will do the trick, especially if it, if the pitch decides to misbehave. I think he's going to come in, and it'll be interesting contest actually, Santner, to some of our bowlers. But I think our players should be looking forward to a great competition facing Saudi and Bolt. And I think the viewers are going to be treated to a spectacle. I just hope that the weather conditions don't ruin it, because the cooler and the sort of wetter it gets, it's
Yep.
kind of game over for India. It'll be like the World Cup 2019 semi-final all over again, and nobody wants that, because I think we struggle in that pressure
Yep.
situation, and it helps that sort of bowling, like Saudi especially. So we don't want that. Uh, let's see. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I think New Zealand
Of
are
course.
very, very happy with their squad and how they have performed recently. I'm sure they're feeling very confident.
नो डाउट अबाउट दैट प्रीटी, थैंक यू वेरी मच। एक्चुअली इनका जो पहला टेस्ट हुआ, हमने बिल्कुल उसके भी ऊपर थोड़ी सी बात की कि उसको विन करना चाहिए था न्यूजीलैंड को, क्योंकि बहुत अच्छा खेली और इंग्लैंड को 275 एक इनिंग में वहां तक रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो मैच ड्रॉ हुआ, वो नहीं जीत सके। लेकिन इसका मतलब है कि दे आर इन अ गुड रिदम इन इंग्लैंड। कंडीशन भी उनको सूट करती है, क्योंकि न्यूजीलैंड और इंग्लैंड की कंडीशंस, इंग्लिश कंडीशन बेसिकली हम उनको कहते हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो या न्यूजीलैंड हो या फिर इंग्लैंड हो। इंग्लैंड में ये है कि थोड़ा सा क्लाउडी वेदर ज्यादा रहता है, तो उसकी वजह से, और समर क्योंकि न्यूजीलैंड जैसा शायद नहीं होता, तो इस वजह से भी इंग्लैंड की कंडीशन ज्यादा हैवी होती है। और हमारी एशियन जो टीम होती है तो वहां पे स्ट्रगल करती है, स्पेशली आजकल इन दिनों में जून जुलाई में जो भी मैचेस होते हैं वहां पर, तो वहां पे वो स्ट्रगल करती है। प्रीटी, हम इसके ऊपर एक और शो भी करेंगे, जैसे ये चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी जो है टेस्ट मैच होगा 18 जून को, उसके आसपास फिर हम एक और शो भी आई होप सो कि हम करेंगे, और व्यूअर्स को बताएंगे अपनी जो जिसे कहते हैं कि स्क्वाड के हवाले से, या फिर मजीद हम इसको स्टडी करेंगे कि कौन सा प्लेयर कहां पे स्ट्रेंथ कर रहा है और क्या ऐसी चीजें हैं, उसकी वीकनेसेस एंड स्ट्रेंथ्स क्या हैं, तो इसके ऊपर भी हम आइंदा बात करेंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग डिबेट विद फखर यूसुफजई, एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच व्यूअर्स फॉर वाचिंग डिबेट विद फखर। बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you, Yousafzai Saab, and thank you to your wonderful audience. We'll come back and we'll do more squad analysis, and as the game starts, we will know the squad by then, so
Yeah.
we'll give you a interesting prediction then. Thank you, G. Thank you so much.
Thank